I don't like how this is going. And I think we need to talk about it amongst each other, and I think that we need to talk about this seriously. First, I'd like to say I'm a non affiliate. And what that means is I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican. I vote for whoever the hell I think has the right ideas. I think that it's two heads of the same snake. To be quite honest, I think one sets the other up so that they can look good, so that they can do bad. And the other one sets the other one up so that they show they're bad, so that they can get in office and they can do bad. And that's the way it's been going for my entire life. And I'm 65. And they've run this country down into the ground. So right now, what do we have? We had one side decide that they were going to open up the borders and they were going to let a whole bunch of people in and we were all going to take care of them. And now, the same thing happens every year. We come to budget time. And budget time says, oh no, we're not going to accept the budget because we want this in, we want that in. And right now, the big deal supposedly is we don't want to feed and give free medical to illegal aliens. Okay, fine. Everybody supposedly agrees except for a minority of people do not, and it is a minority. So if you are in that group of people, fine, you are a minority, and that's fine, and that's fine. We all have the right to feel and say the way that we want, but let's start thinking about what's really happening here. So they ball it all up into one big ball of wax so that our citizens, our poor of the United States, don't get our help that we have already paid for and that we pay for every week out of our paychecks. So now we have our children that aren't going to get food. We have our, and I mean United States citizens, we have our families that are poor, and the poorest of our families, they're already stressed. They already have the highest rate of domestic violence. They already have the biggest problems with mental disabilities and things throughout their families because they're not getting the nutrition that they need, because they're not getting the type of education that they need. That, you know, we're talking about our poorest families, and we are going to stress them to the point to where they're not going to have food. And what do you think is going to happen? Because people are not going to allow their children to look up at them and be crying because they're so hungry and they're so stressed out they don't know what to do. And you think that this is going to raise domestic violence? Of course it's going to. Do you think it's not going to raise abuse on the women and on the children of the United States? Of course it will. And these damn politicians should be in jail for what they've done with our money and how they've made it to where these people are dependent on them, and now they're pulling the rug out from underneath of them. And the worst part about it is I think it's planned. And I think that they planned it, and I think that they're moving the military in so that they'll be able to handle it. Because let's face it, if your family's starving, you will do things that you wouldn't normally do to make sure that you can feed them. That's a fact of life, and they know it. And if we create a situation to where people are stealing from the grocery stores, to where they are robbing other people so that they can get food for their family, just whatever it is that they have to do, don't you think that this isn't something that is a planned ordeal? You don't think that the politicians know that this is what's going to happen? It's not going to happen to them. I mean, look where they live. Look how they are. They're fine. They have plenty of money. You know, people around them have plenty of money. Plus, they have security. They have security. They don't have to worry about, People coming to their house and busting into their shed and stealing their tools or whatever it is. They don't have to worry about somebody carjacking them. They have security. But they leave that for us so that we cry, oh no, we need security, we need this, we need that. Next thing you know, we can fill our streets up with all kinds of military. We can literally start corralling up the poor in this country so that we can start getting them a little bit more out of society. We're not helping ourselves here. And we're allowing our crooked politicians, and I mean every one of them that's not down there screaming, we are allowing our crooked politicians who have already squandered our money out to a bunch of other nations that have all kinds of free health care and all this other stuff. They've given our money to them for whatever reason, Mr. Ted Cruz, and whatever religious beliefs that you happen to have. You're giving our money away. You're making it to where that our people are going to now have problems feeding their families, and you are going to make it to where American citizens are either going to have to worry about their security or they're going to have to take care of their neighbors. And I'm asking you, please take care of your neighbors. During the pandemic that these idiots caused, that we ended up going through all this nonsense, I happened to be one of the expendables. We were construction workers that were working on buildings and stuff, and they did not shut us down. No, because we were making things for the rich. So we had tables out in front of our house to where we went to the store and we bought all kinds of extra canned goods and bought extra food and put it on these tables for free for people to come by and take what they needed for their families, and many did. We need to do that again. We need to understand that this is about human lives, and this is about our government playing with ours. They are planned. They're supposedly the smart ones. I'm just a dumb dirt guy. And if I have figured this out, I don't understand why they haven't. Understand. We are in their way. We either have to make absolutely certain that we get the bad people out of here, which is all of them, or we have to understand we are in their way. We are not in their club, and when they don't need us anymore, they will throw us out like trash, because look how they're about to try to treat our poor, which is the most vulnerable part of our society. They're going to treat them like trash. They're going to treat them like they don't matter, and they are going to sit there and argue their bullshit, and then they're going to go home to their multi-million-dollar houses, and they're going to have their wonderful dinners, and they're not even going to worry about the little kids that are crying themselves to sleep because they didn't have enough to eat. These people are evil, and we can't let them show what America is. We are Americans. We took care of ourselves during the pandemic. We need to take care of ourselves now. And as far as those clowns go, I wish they would shut down. But we do need to take care of our own. Please watch out for your neighbors and watch out for the kids. These children around here, when they don't have their school lunches and then they don't have SNAP and things like that to where there's food in the cupboards, they're the ones that are going to pay the price. And then later, as they grow up, we will be the ones to pay the price. Understand, there's some evil people in this country, and a lot of them go to Washington, and they are the ones that decide how shitty they treat us. Peace and love to you.